Hello and welcome to the match of Magnus Carlsen and Liren from the semi-final of the Magnus Carlsen Tour. And in this video I'm going to cover the very actionful day 4 of their match. So prior to this day, Magnus Carlsen managed to win 2 days already. So if he wins today, then he will be qualifying for the final. However, if Ding manages to win this day, then they shall fight for another day who goes to the final. And as for this particular day, right now the score is 1-0 to Carlsen, so Ding is actually in a very bad position, down on set, so day-wise, so he cannot lose any more days, and he's also done on a particular day. So let's see the position. So now Ding is with the white pieces, and he is actually doing quite well. So at first sight we can see that the black king is actually quite weak. There's not many pawns around him, and also the light squares, so h7, g6 and f7 are quite weak. And many of the white pieces are really ready to attack, so the bishop and e4 is well placed, the knight is about to jump at some point to g6, the rook is well placed, and also the queen is supporting the kingside attack. However, now Carlsen tries to solve his problems tactically, so there is this knight on c3, that is actually attacking both the b1 rook and the e4 bishop. And if black manages to eliminate the white bishop, the light squared bishop, then all of a sudden his light squared would be a lot stronger, given that he actually do have a dark squared bishop. But in this position, Ding managed to find a tactical solution in this position. So here I advise you to stop the video and try to figure out what the best continuation is for white. Yeah, so this knight is obviously the problem, so there is this double attack, but at the same time this bishop is the one that protects it. And white can actually play bishop takes h6. At first sight it seemed like an exchange sacrifice. However, actually this exchange sacrifice cannot be accepted. So if black takes on b1, then comes bishop h7, king h8, and here again you can stop the video to find the final blow for white. And actually the way you can finish off black from this position is very similar to how the game will end. So here white could just place rook takes c8, eliminating the bishop. So this was the bishop that controlled the g6 square, so the knight was not able to jump immediately. However, after rook e8, it is possible to jump. So say queen e8, knight g6 check. So now black could sacrifice the queen, but that's just too much material, and also the mate is still very close. So black has to take on h7, and now knight f8, king h7, queen h7, king g5, queen h4, king f5, queen f4 is checkmate. So for that reason, it's now possible to accept the exchange sacrifice. And also if black takes on h6, then the point was that now the white knight was going to be hanging, and white is simply up a pawn, and still the black king is completely unprotected. There is no pawn around it. So white would be very much a favorite to win the game. So Carlsen actually didn't choose either of these options. He played queen f6, and now a similar motive as I already shown is the way Ding managed to win the game. So Ding played bishop h7 check, and when king h8 took on e8. And the idea is again that after rook fe8, knight g6, king h7, we are delivering the same mate I've already shown once. So knight f8, king h6, queen h7 check, king g5, and check, check, and a similar queen f4 mate, which we've already seen in one of the lines, and actually this was the way the game ended as well. So Ding Liren managed to equalize the score with just a fantastic game. The next game I'm showing is actually game 3, so the game right after the previous one, and in this game Carlsen is with the white pieces. And the previous game was a very interesting tactical battle, but this was an endgame, an opening, basically an endgame opening, so opening without queens. And well, this is the opening, this is the endgame position from which we are going to cover the game. So while black is doing really well actually, this e5 knight is very strong. The white pawn structure is worse, so he had the e3 and b2 weaknesses, and even though white has the bishop, which is supposed to be better in open positions, there is only 2 pawns on the queen side, and the black king can also be very active and just go and run all the way. So in this position it is ding to move, so black to move, and well, he chose a sort of logical plan, but not the best one. So the most straightforward plan would be just run with the king, as I said before, so go all the way to b4, and this is what the computer finds also the strongest way to play. However, Ding started with g5, which is very logical, so you try to fix the pawn on the dark square, but the problem with this move is that it allows white to exchange pawns. So g5, Carlsen immediately plays h4 and tries to eliminate one more pair of pawns. In this position, in order not to eliminate, so black's plan would be to have some sort of asymmetry in the position left. So that's why this is a counterintuitive move. So f6 would be the better way to protect the pawn, and when white takes, then black takes back, and there would be a chance to create some pass pawn on the king side later on. However, what Ding did, it just played h6, and in this way this g5 is a bit of a strange move, because now white managed to eliminate one pair of pawns, and actually the position didn't change much, so there's no more asymmetry created. But black is still a little bit better. The knight is strong, the g5 pawn is on a dark square, so all the pawns will be on dark square. This pawn will go to f6, and the black king is now finally trying to march towards the white pawns. So the game continued with queen f2, king d6, king e2, king c5, and well, here it would be logical to move your king further. However, what Carlsen did was bishop b7, which is very strange because it's just flat out allowed the black king to enter. So in this position, again, the most straightforward way would be to just go with the king, and now there's king b3, and take this b2 pawn. So white's defense is king d2, king b3, king c1, but now after knight d3 check, king b1, knight takes b2, and bishop d5, knight c4, bishop f7. Well, the material is equal, however the black pieces are very active, so this king, this knight, this pawn is very fast. So, well, this is very good winning chances for black, even though objective in the position might not be winning, but this is a short time controlled game, so at this point both players only had like a couple of minutes and the increments of 10 seconds after each move. So this actually is a very good winning chance for black. So, but surprisingly, Ding did not play king c4, and so didn't play the move king c4, which is very straightforward, but he pushed a4. So the idea is to fix this pawn and this b2 pawn, and hoping that at some point when black manages to take this b2 pawn, then this pawn is closer to promotion. And here Carlsen played king d2, which is once again a strange move, because after knight c4 he's just losing a pawn. However, Carlsen evaluated that if he gives up his e3 pawn, manages to put his king to c3, which he did, so this is the position that arose on the board. His bishop is actually going to be strong enough to hold a draw. The game goes with g3, knight f5, g4, knight e3, bishop f3, f6, king d3, knight c4, king c3, and well, in this position Ding goes actually very wrong. So the natural way to continue would be to play knight e5, the knight is beautiful on e5 again, and after bishop d1 plays a move like king d5, threatening to enter on the king side now, and after bishop takes a4, there could be knight takes g4 coming, and well, black has 2 pawns to push, white only has 1 pawn. It's likely to end up in a draw again, but still white has to defend and fight for the draw. However, Ding actually played the move here, knight d6, which did not particularly test Carlsen anymore, and the game ended quickly peacefully. So bishop g2, knight b5, king d3, king b4, bishop c6, and it's clear that the white plan is going to be that at some point sacrificing this bishop for this pawn, but the white king is going to enter and take the remaining black pawns. So the game went on king d4, knight f7, bishop f3, knight h6, bishop d1. So now you can see that the bishop is finally a better place than the knight. The knight used to be somewhere on e5 or e3, now it's an h6 horrible position. And the bishop now is controlling this diagonal, the black king cannot go further, and the white bishop is ready to sacrifice himself for the likely last pawn of black. So the game went with f5, even further simplifying the position. And after some exchanges for knight e3, in this position Carlsen could just take the pawn. And after king takes king e4, and the white king will be fast enough to eliminate the last pawn of black. So knight c4, king f5, and this pawn is taken, and the game was drawn after knight b2 and king takes g5. So Ding actually, well, messed up a really good chance in this game.